The National Disaster Management Agency continues its efforts in helping the internally displaced communities and their host families in FONI as the war intensifies between the MFDC rebels and the Senegalese army. Our reporter Binta Jallow was on the ground and she now reports.
On the 13th of March, the Senegalese army launched a military operation in the southern region of Senegal, Casamance. This has negatively impacted Gambians living around the border belt with Senegal. The districts affected in FONI are Kansala, Bintankaranai, Berefet, Jarol, and Bondali. While the attack and clashes are in Senegal, bullets have landed in the Gambia, causing panic and displacement of populations living around the border. The National Disaster Management Agency started a rapid assessment methodology immediately after the incident occurred. The assessment is largely centered on the humanitarian and integration needs of the displaced persons. The assessment was done through individual household level interviews and focus group discussions. The assessment was on the profile of the displaced population, food and nutrition security situation, shelter, water and hygiene. The regional disaster coordinator for the West Coast region, Binta Jammeh, said they have reached out to 500 families and as of Friday, they supported at least 1,200 displaced persons. Madam Jammeh says the figures are expected to increase.
We have reached out to 500 families so far. But the entire total of those affected under the three categories totals to 1,200 plus as at Friday. But as at yesterday, we received information that we are getting new arrivals from Casamance region to the Gambia, meaning that figure would also automatically change. So far we have reached out to 500 households and there is a gap of almost 800 households that are yet to be reached.
She asserts that after going around the communities, they discovered that the displaced persons and host families need help.
I found out that people are dearly in need, even though we have targeted the 500 and we called them. But you would see to the others who were not called are also coming, seeking for help. We know they are very desperately in need of help, especially that the Ramadan is fast approaching. We've realized that some people have moved, some went back to their house, to their compounds, but later come back again because they will go back when they feel the situation is not secure, they come back. Also, we have realized that there are some IDPs who are hosted with different families. For instance, today you are hosted at FONI Bondali. When FONI Bondali is not secured for you, you want to move to FONI Bintankaranai or FONI Kansala. So sometimes we have that challenge also of one IDP being hosted by 2 or 3 families.
Mrs. Jammeh outlined some of the challenges they encountered during this period.
The challenges could be many. As you know, this is a government institution. The expectations are high, especially from the IDPs, the refugees, and the host family. The expectations are high. Even though we are trying our best, but there is still need for support. Still need for support in terms of food, in terms of it's even. If it is even possible, cash transfer would have been the best solution, because if you give them cash, that's unconditional support. You give them cash, they can utilize it anyhow they want, just to make sure that they meet their household demands. So the biggest challenge now is how do we synergize with other partners? How do we coordinate effectively to make sure that all the response are coming through the same channel so that we avoid duplication of efforts.
We also managed to talk to some of the beneficiaries, and this is what they had to say. When the problem started, our families who are living around the border came to us for refuge. They asked my husband to help bring their belongings to our place. Now, they are all living here with us. We are suffering, but we thank God. We left all our properties behind, and I believe we lost them. The help we are getting here is good, but if we can get more, we will be happy. We lost our beds, wardrobes, among other things. They gave us rice, oil, and sugar. But if the government can help us with money to enable us to buy basic food commodities, we will appreciate it. The affected 5 districts have a population of 67,360 people, according to the Gambia Social Registry data for 2021, with a total number of 7,078 households. However, the population movement predominantly affected Kansala and Bondali districts. The 13th March clash led to the displacement of most of the population in the border villages in the 2 districts. The estimated number of people affected by the current clash is expected to increase. However, as a result of the continued clashes and displacement and redisplacement of the population, only 9,973 people from 932 households were able to be assessed and registered in the first 72 hours. Assessment teams had to suspend registration because of the unsafe environment along the border between Gambia and Senegal. Binta Jallow, Eyeafrica News.